I want to talk about a few things that some of our clients and some of the other people, they ask me question all the time, like a kind of like a frequently asked question, and some of our experiences. So number one, when you submit any write up to us, like let's say your proposed endeavor or your research summary or anything like recommendation letter, something, try your best to make it easy for us, because we are lawyer, we are not expert in your field. I will give you a specific example. One of our previous clients, he had a PhD in theoretical mathematics, and mathematics by itself is tough for us, and it was a theoretical mathematics, so it was very hard for us to understand what he actually did in his PhD thesis and other kind of research. So I requested him many times, please make it very easy for us, because we are not expert in your field, it's kind of hard for us to understand. And he tried his best, but still we had tough time to understand. So I request to all of you, especially those who have like a theoretical science subject, like theoretical mathematics or theoretical physics kind of things, please try your best to make it as easy possible for us, that we understand your topic, then we can write a good petition. Also, we the attorneys, we have a JD degree, like we have a bachelor degree, then we have a JD degree. But most of the USCIS officers, they probably have just a bachelor degree. Some may have master's degree, some even may have associate degree, you even don't know. So try your best to make it easy for USCIS officers, for them to understand. And frankly speaking, they don't have a lot of time to Google about your subject just for understanding. So if you do not provide us easy explanation of your research and your publication, it would be hard for us to write a good petition. And if we cannot explain it good, USCIS officer may not pay enough attention. So try your best to make it as easy as possible. Number two, economic impact analysis. So the way we work, when we take a client, we get all of their information and documents, and we do our own economic impact analysis. We have 3 persons in our firm. Their sole job is just to write economic impact analysis. They have an economics degree. But the problem is, again, they have an economics degree. So they understand the theory, the mechanism behind economic impact analysis, but they're not expert in your field. So if you can write something like, how your publication is going to impact American economy as a whole, or the world economy as a whole, how your work experience is going to impact, how your PhD thesis, master's thesis is going to impact. So of course, we will write our own economic impact analysis, but I request you to write up something, because you better know your subject than anybody in this world. You better know your research. So even if you just Google it, try to check whether it's a good source, like a reliable source, like Washington Post, New York Times, or like any industry journal in your field. Try your best and figure out that, like the dollar amount, or like if US Congress discussed about it, or if there is like a private, let's say Pew Research did something, or some kind of reliable data, and give it to us. That will really help us, and also help us to write a good petition for you. Definitely we'll do our best, but we need help from you. Another topic I want to discuss, there's a very prominent law firm. They submit NIW application without any letter of recommendations. And I understand their point, because letter of recommendations are not mandatory. However, in my opinion, academic field is very academic oriented, like whether you are a really good researcher or not, whether you are a very good PhD student or not, whether your PhD dissertation was a great thing or not, your professor is the best person to talk about that. I am not the best person, because I'm not expert in your subject matter. So either your PhD supervisor or your boss, in your job, or somebody, if they write a recommendation letter, that's really, really helpful for you. So even though it's not mandatory, in our firm, we think it's kind of mandatory, and I try my best to convince my clients. Yes, I understand the other big law firm, they said they don't need it, but I would highly recommend you to submit at least 2-3 recommendation letters. Otherwise, it would be that would weaken your position. So try your best to get recommendation letter. That's really, and the best way to get recommendation letter is to have a good relationship with your professor or supervisor. It shows that you have a good relation with your supervisor or your professor. If you submit no recommendation letter, USCIS officer will understand, okay, so you probably cannot get recommendation letters. So that's also not very good for you. I would highly recommend you to get some recommendation letters. The last topic I would involve is be involved in your field. So a lot of students, like a PhD students, those who have a PhD degree, they are very focused in their lab, in their work, which is great. I understand. But at the same time, there's a lot of professional organizations. Like, let's say, if I give you example, if you're an electrical engineer, there's an organization called IEEE. Try to be involved, and try to be as involved as possible. Let's say you are a president of a university chapter or vice president of a university chapter. Those kind of involvement really helps. If you get any award from your department, any fellowship, any grant, any kind of recognition, any kind of something, even just an email from your supervisor that congratulations, you have been awarded for this, and probably the gift was, let's say, $50 Starbucks card. I understand it's not a lot of things, but at the end of the day, that email will carry a value, and we can say, my client, Mr. X, Dr. X, he did this great thing, and his professor congratulated him and awarded him this thing. So all these tiny things that help. So be involved in your field, and that will really help your case getting stronger. It will be easy for us to write a good petition, and it will be good for all of us.